It has been 2 episodes now since the mainland has been in the spotlight, the longest gap so far, and it definitely deserves a little more attention before we continue. So, with the Cacti Canyon just outside, it feels right to travel to the infamous desert temple for this floor. The desert temple has been something I've wanted to include in the tower for a long time, but I could not find the room for it. In fact, the first floor was originally planned to be the desert temple, though it obviously went in a different direction. Very little but the size of the floor has changed since then, and I still use the exact same design for the walls that I intended to so long ago. The architecture is something I find very important in this series. I attempt to give each and every castle, fortress, or temple its own style and design. For the desert temple, I have made use of an arching design on both the overhanging rim at the top and for the very base of the floor, which hangs above a massive drop leading several floors down all the way to the very base of the tower at some points. In the interior, I have used some of the signature stylings of the desert temple to full extent, with piles of sand spilling out like snow layers and a water feature in the center of the room, and traps all around. I have included spike traps and the saw blade trap, though I did not have the space to make the third trap variant found within this mission in-game. However, as the desert temple is known for its treasures, I have included an emerald pot, which I thought would be a fitting place for the skull pottery shard. One lone hero can be found on this floor, and they are wearing spelunker armor and hold both a spear and an elite power bow. This player has a pet in the llama, which is atop the water feature in the center of the floor. As a passive mob, Piggy Bank, which is carrying a golden chest on its back. That is the only passive mob for this display, and I think perhaps the entire tower itself, so I'm pretty happy that it got added. Several unique enemies are also found here, namely the Husk and the Skeleton Vanguard, who's holding a glaive and a shield. Lastly, there is the boss, the only boss you would expect to find in the desert temple, and that is the Nameless one. He wields the Nameless staff, which is held high in preparation to attack the player with a ring of clones as would happen in-game. Now, onto the tiling time-lapse, a rather brief one for a somewhat smaller floor, so enjoy. With the tiling now complete, we move swiftly on to the platform for this level, which features yet another mainland mission, this time the Redstone Mines. The Redstone Mines was a necessary inclusion in this tower, as it gives me the opportunity to showcase the Redstone Golem, as well as many decorations that this area has to offer. There are plenty of patches of redstone, as well as even some diamonds hidden away, and this is a mine. I thought it should include a minecart, which follows Cheesy Studios' design that has become standard at this point. Found almost exclusively in the redstone mines, zombie spawners are a commonplace in this mission, so it made sense to include one here. While no figures can be found here, I have included a number of enemies, though there are none you haven't seen in previous floors. There is a Vindicator and 2 zombies, with one of them on the highest tier. Of course, I have already mentioned the Redstone Golem, but I will add that I have smoothed off all the edges on him so that there are no rough surfaces showing. Plus, that printed rock piece was too good not to use. One more tiling time-lapse for this episode yet, so enjoy. To finish the episode off, we move on to the cinematic. And at last, we reach the teaser for the next episode. The list of places left to visit is growing thin, and after having done 3 mainland missions in the previous 2 episodes, I thought it was best to go back to another DLC. This one will be one that is worth the plunge, and is the last floor to be built in this project. Until then, I'll see you next week.